Hi, everybody. So I will introduce FrontendPHP, which is a project written in Go, not in PHP. So that's why the name, actually, it's written in Go with a part in C, and it allows to improve the performance of your PHP applications. Who in the room already tried FrontendPHP? Okay, already a lot of people, that's nice. So my name is Kevin Dinglas, and I come from France. I'm a PHP developer. I created a framework called API Platform that allows to easily create REST and GraphQL APIs that can be used with Symfony and Laravel. Are some API Platform users in the room? Okay, nice. And actually, I started working on FrontendPHP to improve the performance of the API Platform APIs. I am also a maintainer of Symfony, and I contribute to various PHP projects, including Laravel, Cilius, the e-commerce platform, and many others. Since a long time now, I'm also a Go developer. I created a tool called Mercure, and I will talk about it during this talk. Basically, it's a protocol that allows to replace WebSocket and to create real-time applications, like, let's say, Google Drive, where you can see other users editing the document. This protocol allows to do that. And there is a default implementation that is written in Go on top of the KDE web server. We will talk a lot about the KDE web server during this talk, because basically, FrontendPHP is a custom build of the KDE web server tailored for PHP. So I also contributed a lot to the KDE web server, and I'm one of the maintainers of the project, and I also had to contribute to the Go programming language itself. Finally, the first language I learned was C, and I'm still programming with C quite often, and I had to patch PHP many times, and I also worked on new features, so I have some commits in the PHP project. That's for the background. I work at, sorry for the name, Letilleul.coop. There is no, it means the lime tree in English, but soon we will change the name to have something that you can pronounce in English. That's currently not possible. Basically, if you have issues with your PHP or Go or JavaScript projects and you want some help from experts, or if you don't want to code yourself because, like me, you are lazy and you want people to do it for you, just call us and we can help you doing that. The company is quite special because it's a co-op. That means that the entire company belongs to the employees, that all the decisions are made democratically. We vote for everything that matters. And finally, at the end of the year, we share the benefits equally between all the employees. So, what's FrontendPHP? This is a modern application server for your PHP applications. At a glance, it replaces Nginx, the web server, and PHP SPM, or Apache and ModPHP. So with one tool, you will have both a very modern web server and the PHP engine. Let's be clear, it includes the official PHP engine. It's not a fork, it's not something like HHVM from Facebook that was a rewrite of PHP. It's using the true PHP from the PHP organization. And we will see how later during the talk. In the beginning, it has been created to improve the developer experience with PHP. The two main goals was to be able to get started very easily when starting a new PHP project. Basically, you can download a single binary or download a Docker image, and you have a working development environment. That's possible with most modern programming languages, but that's currently hard with PHP because you need a web server, you need PHP SPM, you need to configure everything. other linked goal was to be able to make it easy to deploy PHP applications in production on bare metal servers without to configure anything, basically, but also when using containers and especially when using Kubernetes. Because who is using Kubernetes? Or at least Docker? Okay, almost everybody. And do you agree with me that it's a pain to deploy a PHP app correctly with Kubernetes? Who agrees? Not so much. Okay, so I hope that everybody else is familiar with Unix sockets and the thing that to configure properly PHP SPM with Nginx, you need to follow the Docker best practices through image, at least two containers, and that you need to be sure that both the Nginx and the PHP SPM are on the same pod, Kubernetes pod, because for best performance, you need to use a Unix socket for both containers to communicate, and you can do that only if the services are on the same machine. That's actually quite a pain. It will be easier to just be able to have a single Docker container that you can start and have your application working. And that's what you can do very easily with FrankenPHP. And while working on this, we also figured out that it was possible to leverage the capabilities of the Go programming language to improve dramatically the performance of PHP apps. We introduced a feature that I will showcase during this presentation called the FrankenPHP worker mode, which is optional and which require some changes in your code to use it, but you will see that it's quite easy. According to all recent benchmarks, this is the fastest PHP engine, and this mode can improve dramatically the performance of your application. Some figures, basically, according to most benchmarks, when switching from PHP SPM to FrankenPHP with the worker mode, without changing much code, you can improve the performance of your application by sometimes like 10 to 20 times. So it's quite impressive. FrankenPHP also has support for features for modern features from the web platform that are hard or impossible to implement with Nginx and SPM. We will talk about the 103 early in status code. There is also native support for HTTP3, for instance, that is not supported in the default non-paid version of Nginx. There is support for Mercure, the real-time protocol, and the tool has been designed from the ground up to be compatible with all existing PHP apps. So you don't have to modify your PHP code to use it with FrankenPHP without the worker mode. If you want to enable the worker mode, then you will have to do some small modifications to the code. We will see that. So, first thing, everything in FrankenPHP is designed to be as easy to use as possible, both locally and in production. Production is the main target of the tool, but we also want something very easy to use locally. It's also designed to be easy to run functional tests or end-to-end tests in your CI systems, for instance. So this is a standalone binary that can even embed your PHP code and JavaScript assets and things like that. And this standalone binary is enough to start a working production environment. There is no external dependencies. We will see that there are several ways to install the tool, but there is a way to install it where you can just download the binary and you get everything to run your PHP app, a web server, the PHP engine, all the extensions that you need, all the dependencies of the extensions, etc. And it has a lot of advanced features at the web server level that are not supported by Apache or Nginx. Why? Because it's using an open source web server called Kadi, which is a web server written in Go, that is one of the most modern web servers available, and that is implementing let's say, all the features of the HTTP protocol, including HTTP3, and that provides a lot of options and features through a very convenient configuration language. So, by default, because this is a custom KDE build, you can use all the features of KDE, all the plugins available for KDE, and there are dozens of KDE plugins that are nice, like a cache server similar to Varnish, like OAuth server, like a rate limiting plugin. There are many, many, many plugins. And you can improve your apps by using some features of the Go programming language directly from your PHP apps. And you can extend your apps in Go, in C, because you can always write C extensions for PHP, and all the common C extensions for PHP are supported when using FrankenPHP, and of course in PHP. Actually, there is another way to say the same thing. Matthew Holt, the author of the KDE web server, said during one of his conferences that FrankenPHP is a good way to extend the KDE web server itself. So basically, with this tool, because KDE now can now embed a PHP engine in the web server, that also means that if you are serving any application, let's say written in Java or in Ruby, but you want to execute some custom logic at the web server level, then instead of writing a Go plugin, and you need to learn Go to do that, you can write a single PHP script very easily and improve, add some capabilities to the web server itself. That's another way to say the same thing. So, at the core of the tool, there is a standalone Go library that we created. This library can be used in any Go program, with or without KDE. It can also work. We have some documentation explaining how to use the FrankenPHP Go library to execute some PHP code from a Go program. How does it work? Actually, PHP is written in C, and is available as a system library. You can compile PHP to generate a library called libphp. And so that means that you have some C functions that you can call from, let's say, any program to execute PHP scripts. And Go has the ability to call C functions from a Go program. It's a compiled language. It has been created by the same team as C. And so there is first-class compatibility with C. So that means that this library will allow any Go code to call the C functions exposed by the PHP library. And this bridge is totally transparent and very, very efficient, very, very fast. That also means that if we compile PHP statically, that's not that easy to do, but that works, then you can create a single binary that will contain your Go program and the PHP engine in the same file without relying on external dependencies. So there is that in this standalone Go library. And finally, there is a new SAPI for PHP. The SAPI is, let's say, the bridge that will allow to convert the internal data structures of the web server containing the HTTP request or response in the internal data structure of PHP itself. So basically, if you are using Apache, there is ModPHP, it's the SAPI for Apache. And what will do this SAPI is that when an HTTP request is received, the HTTP request will be transformed in a C struct by Apache, and the ModPHP will transform this C struct in the C struct needed by PHP and call the PHP code. Then your PHP script will be executed. It will generate an HTTP response, something similar. and this response will be basically converted to an Apache response that will generate the text of the HTTP response and send it to the client. In Go, there is something very interesting. There is a native web server built in the standard library of the programming language. And it's a very optimized web server with a lot of capabilities that is maintained by Google for the Google scale. And actually, all the popular web servers that are written in Go are just some glue, adding some high-level features on top of this web server that is in the language itself. So the package is called NetHTTP, and it's available in any Go program. And both Caddy, Traffic, the Kubernetes services are using, under the hood, this library that is part of the standard library of the Go programming language. So Franken PHP is basically an HTTP middleware for Go, allowing to execute PHP scripts in command line mode, but also in HTTP mode in any Go program. So if you want to try that, you can go on the website and we show a program that has something like 10 lines of code explaining how to create your own web server using, of course, the one that is built into Go, executing PHP scripts with Franken PHP. In addition, there is, of course, a module for Caddy. And we are working on creating modules for other popular, let's say, proxies and servers for Go, including the Traffic, the tool that is very popular in the Kubernetes ecosystem. And finally, we have been able to add unique features that are available only in Franken PHP, not in PHP SPM or Mod PHP, because we expose new PHP functions that will expose some features of the Go programming language to PHP. Okay, so when you install Franken PHP, that was the low-level explanation, but for you, for the end users, it's very, very easy. You download single binary or Docker image, and you get a working web server with, of course, support for PHP, but also the ability to automatically generate TLS certificates and renew it using Let's Encrypt. That's out of the box by default. There is not even a single line of config to do that. There is native support for HTTP 2 and HTTP 3 that allows to improve a lot the performance of applications, especially when using a mobile connection. There is native support for most modern compression formats supported by browsers, including Zip Standard, which is quite new. It is supported by Chrome since 1 year, and it allows to compress the HTML responses and the assets of your web page in a very impressive way. It's supported by default by Franken PHP 2. It exposes structured logged in JSON that you can very easily use with an ELK stack or Stackdriver from Google and things like that. It has been designed for that. There was a talk about Prometheus in the morning. Franken PHP exposes automatically a Prometheus endpoint with a lot of metrics regarding the current status of the server, the number of served requests, the average, and many stats about the latency. And you have many metrics that are exposed, the CPU and memory usage. That's out of the box too. And there is even a web API that you can use to change the configuration of the web server and of PHP, and to reload the web server when needed with zero downtime. This is possible because actually all these features, or almost all, are in the Caddy web server. And so you can use all the features available in the Caddy web server, and we add some PHP-specific features on top of that. For instance, in the Prometheus endpoint, we add many extra metrics dedicated to PHP stats that are, of course, not available by default in Caddy. Okay, so the tool is compatible with all existing PHP apps because it's using the real PHP engine, including Symfony and Laravel apps, but also things like WordPress. WordPress works pretty good with front-end PHP. It is available as a static binary, as a Docker image. It can be configured using the convenient KDE configuration format that we write in a KDE file. And you can use php.ini as usual if you want to. It's also completely supported. And the software is entirely free. It is under the MIT license, and it is also it is not paid. To get started, the easiest way to install Franken PHP locally or on a bare metal server or on a VPS is to use the static binaries that we provide. So you have a one-liner, you can run this command, and it will download a single file that you can run in the current directory of your PHP app, containing a web server, the PHP engine, all the popular PHP extensions, and all their dependencies. And if you run Franken PHP, PHP server, you can specify the public directory of your app with the R flag. Then you get a web server serving your PHP app in HTTP3 with a TLS certificate that is automatically generated. That's all you need. If you are using Mac or Linux, you can also use packages that we provide using Brew. It's also supported on Linux. And so, if you use this installation method, you will get a dynamically built version of Franken PHP, so it has some performance improvement, and you get the updates too. With the previous one, you can rerun the one-liner to get the updates also. And finally, if you prefer to use Docker or Kubernetes, we also provide official Docker images that extend the official PHP images provided by Docker. It's important. These images are not maintained by PHP, but by Docker. So sometimes there are some issues with that. But anyway, we extend these images. And so if you want to, you can also use Docker. You can see that we expose the UDP TLS port. It's because HTTP3 is using UDP. So this allows to have HTTP3 support even with Docker. Something cool that you can do with Franken PHP. There is a community project called Franken WP, which is basically a template to use Franken PHP for Docker. And there is something very interesting in this project called Franken WP, is that they created a teeny WordPress plugin and a teeny Franken PHP module to put everything in cache. So that's one of the key features of Franken PHP. You can extend it very easily in Go. So they created a module that is running into Franken PHP itself. And when there is a page that is generated by WordPress in the admin, then it is stored in cache. And when a user requests a public page of the website, it's served from the memory. And PHP is not called anymore. So it's fast as hell. If you go in the admin and you change some content, then automatically the tool will update the data that is stored in cache. And so PHP is only called when an admin is modifying the content, but never when a user is browsing the site. So that's one interesting usage of Franken PHP for something that is quite hard to do if you are not using it, even with things like WordPress that are never been designed for that. Okay, so the worker mode. The worker mode is entirely optional. It allows to basically keep your booted application in memory. So it's especially useful if you are using frameworks like Symfony or Laravel. Who is using Symfony? Okay. And Laravel? Okay. And another framework? Okay. As long as your framework is using, let's say, some dependency injection container, you will benefit from that. The main idea is that you will be able to boot your application one time and reuse the services, all the objects that need to be initialized to handle as many requests as necessary without restarting PHP again. So it's supported by default. We will see that by Symfony and Laravel and some other framework like, if I remember correctly, it's also supported by Yi. So how does it work? Actually, we are relying on a feature of the Go programming language called the Go routines. It's an async engine that is very, very efficient. When the web server will start, it will also start several worker scripts. So you can configure the number of scripts, the number of instances of the script that must be started at the same time of the web server. And this script will take care of auto-loading all the classes that need to be auto-loaded using Composer. That's a slow operation. To initialize all the objects that are needed for your framework and your application. And when everything will be ready to handle a HTTP request, it will wait. It will wait for the request. And when request will flow through the web server, Franken PHP will wake up the script, handle the request with the currently running worker script, and send back the HTTP response to the web server, then to the user. But it will not stop the script. It will just loop and keep everything, all caches, for instance, all objects that has been created in memory to be reused by the next request. So this mode allows to save a lot of time because when using PHP SPM or mod PHP, PHP is what we call a fire and forget language. The request is received, the application is booted, the PHP code is executed, and then everything is trashed. And for the next request, you need to initialize everything again. So obviously, it's quite slow. It's quite slow, but it's safe and secure. So when you use this mode, you get a big speed improvement, but you need to be careful to not have memory leaks and to not have global states that will, for instance, leak data from one request to another. So you need to be more careful. It's why it's opt-in and not enabled by default. Under the hood, it's using some code that is written using Go routines and channels, and that's why it's so fast. So to use this mode with the popular frameworks, it's very easy because the heavy work has been done by the frameworks. With Symfony, you can require what we call a runtime package, and there is a runtime package provided by the Symfony core team for Franken PHP to enable the worker mode. And then you can add the W flag to hint Franken PHP to start this worker script and use it to handle the request when they will arrive. There is also the ability to use a Cadify instead of command line flags if you prefer. And of course, it works both with the static binary, with Brew, with Docker. You can use what you want. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to change a single line of your PHP code to get this performance improvement with Symfony, as long as your code hasn't memory leaks or problems with global states. It's a bad practice anyway. We have tools to mitigate the problems that you can have. For instance, you can configure Symfony to say, OK, I have a memory leak. I don't have the time to fix it right now, so restart the worker script after 10 requests, for instance, or something like that. You have many options like that. For Laravel, it's also supported by the framework itself. You also need an extra package called Laravel Octane. And Laravel Octane has a nice developer experience because it is also able to install Franken PHP. So with the first command, Octane will download the static binary of Franken PHP. And then you can just run Octane start, and you are using the worker mode. Again, no code change to your Laravel application to use Franken PHP. It's the web server that is used by default by Laravel Octane, and it will be supported in the upcoming Laravel Cloud product that will be available in a few weeks, if I remember correctly. Some benchmarks. a first benchmark has been done by the Laravel team something like 1 year ago. So we improved by a factor 2 the performance of front-end PHP since this benchmark. So it's outdated, but even 1 year ago, it was something like 5 times faster than Spool, and faster also than Roadrunner. So according to this benchmark, front-end PHP was, at least at the time, the fastest engine, even compared to other solutions providing a worker mode. The Cilius e-commerce platform also did some benchmarks on Cilius, which is a project based on Symfony. And they compared front-end PHP with PHP FPM. So it's front-end PHP using the worker mode. And so they said that basically it's the server capacity efficiency is more than 6 times better, that you can save a lot of money, and that you can handle 150 clients with PHP FPM, and on the same AWS instance, 1,000 clients when using front-end PHP. So that's what allows this worker mode. Another interesting feature that is only available in front-end PHP and that works both with and without the worker mode, the 103 early hint HTTP status code. Who already used that? Good. That's a good idea, and if there is only one thing to remember in this talk is configure your web server properly. There are ways to manage to do that next week to leverage that, because this allows to improve the performance of applications very easily. This new status code has been implemented by Chrome, Firefox, and Safari, if I remember correctly. It's supported by all web browsers, and all browsers will just ignore it, so it will not break application with all browsers. According to Cloudflare and Google, this can improve the largest contentful paint of a web page by something like 30%. So it's quite impressive, and you will see that it's especially useful for server-side applications, like we do in PHP. So here is the problem. Let's say that we are serving a product page for an e-commerce website. The browser will request the index file. It will execute our PHP code. It will probably execute a lot of slow SQL queries and then a lot of slow PHP code, and it will generate some HTML. The HTML, it will take 200 milliseconds. The HTML will be sent to the browser. The browser will parse the HTML and detect that to render the page, the browser also needs a CSS file. So at this point, it will download the CSS file. So it will take 25 extra milliseconds. Then it will be able to render the page to the user. The usual way the web works. But we, as web developers, we know that the user, the browser, will need the CSS file. We know that to render the index page, we need another asset, the CSS file. It could also be a JavaScript file, an image, something like that. So what if we could just hint the browser that it will need in the future this asset? It's what allows the 103 status code. So 103 is a special class of HTTP status, meaning this is an informative response. This is like some kind of temporary response. And after that, you will receive a final response. So immediately, the web server will send a 103 response hinting the browser that it needs to download the command.css file. And the browser can download it immediately. In parallel, we will do our slow SQL queries, we will execute our slow PHP code, and finally the HTML will be rendered. The browser will parse the HTML, it will see that it needs the command.css file, but it has already been downloaded in parallel. So the rendering is 25 milliseconds faster because the downloading of the CSS file has been done in parallel of the generation of the HTML page by your PHP app, for instance. Okay? Unfortunately, it's not possible to implement this status code with PHP FPM at least. Why? In the HTTP protocol, for one HTTP request, you can send many HTTP responses. You can send as many 1xx HTTP responses as you need. Then you will need to send the final response, 200, for instance, or an error, or something like that. But PHP FPM is using a quite old protocol called FastCGI, which is, let's say, a binary representation of the CGI protocol, or something allowing to do CGI over the network. And in CGI and FastCGI, one request, one response only. So without patching this specification, that will not happen, at least will not happen soon, it's not possible to implement this feature of HTTP with PHP FPM. With the Apache module, which is kind of deprecated anyway in PHP, it could be theoretically possible, but it needs a very big refactoring of how Apache itself is designed. So it's not going to happen too. In Go, on the other hand, it's already supported to generate these 1xx responses. And it works pretty well because I'm the author of this feature in the Go programming language. So I can guarantee that it works well. But FrankenPHP is basically executing the PHP engine in the same process as the Go web server. So that means that technically, the PHP engine has direct access to the TCP or UDP connection with the client. So we don't have CGI or FastCGI, and we could technically send 103 responses directly from PHP or by delegating that to the Go web server. And it's actually what is available in FrankenPHP. So we added this header send function that is implementing the proposal of Nikita in the PHP GitHub. And basically, so you send some headers that are required. Actually, you can only add headers in 103 response. And the browser will read these headers and download the files that are linked in these specific headers. And when you call this function, the 103 response will be sent to the browser. Then you can execute your slow SQL queries and your slow PHP code. And finally, use PHP as usual to generate the 200 HTTP response. If you are using Symfony or Laravel, there is a high-level API available in both Symfony and Laravel to generate these early hints response. So basically, you just have to use the send headers method provided on the response object of Symfony and Laravel and set the status code to 103, and that will work. That will work at one condition: you need to use FrankenPHP. It will be ignored if you are using Apache or FPM. The Mercure integration. So you can find some talks about the Mercure protocol and its Go implementation on YouTube, PeerTube, etc. So I will not go in depth into the protocol. The main idea is that in many ecosystems, including PHP, it's hard to maintain persistent connections between the server and the browser. In PHP, for instance, by default, there is a timeout of 30 seconds. And after that, the connection will be closed. And if you change the timeout, then you will, for instance, with PHP FPM, or even with Franken PHP, you will have a FPM worker or a Franken PHP thread that will be busy serving this long-running connection. So that means that it's very hard to implement with PHP things like server-sent events that need an open connection between the server and the client. It's even harder to implement things like WebSocket because it's another protocol that's not supported at all by PHP, or you need to rely on things that will shortcut the web server, like React PHP or things like that, but basically they provide their own web server. The main idea of Mercure is, let's use a programming language that is designed to handle a lot of concurrent long-running connections, like Go. It's one of the main features of Go. It has been designed for that from the ground up. And so the Mercure protocol rely on a server. We call that a hub. And this server will maintain a lot of open connections between the server and all the currently connected devices. And from your PHP app, or from your serverless application, because you have the same issues that, as with PHP when you are using serverless providers. There is a short timeout. It's not designed to handle persistent connections. You will just be able to send a single post request to the hub, and the hub will forward the event or the data to all the currently connected devices. There is a part of the HTML specification allowing to do that. It's called the server-sent event specification. It's quite a simple alternative to WebSockets. That was not very popular, but that is now very popular because all the problems with this protocol have been fixed in HTTP 2 and 3. So if you have HTTP 2 or 3, it's a good idea to use that for real-time communications and to push events in real time to your clients. In Franken PHP, because it's written in Go, we provide a Mercure hub by default. It is exposed, this is working, you can use it, and it will manage all the connections between the server and the clients, but it's not written in PHP, it's written in Go, so it's fast, memory efficient, etc. It's to send an event to web browsers, it's quite easy, it's just a post request to do, so you can even use FilePut contents to do that. There is also a Symfony component that you can use for a higher level API that is nicer to use. It's a component, so you can use it in any project. And there is an integration with Laravel Broadcast 2 that you can use to use Mercure with Laravel. So you don't need any configuration by default. Everything will be configured automatically. Then client side, it works in any programming language, but it's natively supported by JavaScript. And in JavaScript, you can just use the native event source class provided by web browsers to subscribe to the URL exposed automatically by Franken PHP and set the topics that you want to listen on. And every time you will send an event from the PHP app, it will be received by all the connected devices as a JavaScript event. And then you will be free to update the view, for instance. And that's by default. Some other interesting features that are provided by Franken PHP, the ability to package your PHP app as a single binary. Then you will be able to send to your customer a single file containing a web server, PHP, all the PHP extensions that you need, all the dependencies of PHP and the extensions, your PHP code. Be careful, it will not be encrypted. It's still source available, but it's in the binary. And even your assets, your JavaScript file, CSS, etc. To do that, You need to prepare your final production-ready app. So, for instance, you install your vendors using Composer, optimize the application by running Artisan Optimize if you are using Laravel, build the cache in prod mode if you are using Symfony. Then you clone the Franken-PHP Git repository, and you run a script that we provide. It will take some time because it needs to compile PHP and the extension you need. The extensions will be guessed by reading your composer.json file. It will cherry pick the extensions that are needed by your application. And at the end, you will get a binary that you can start, and your application will be up and running. So it's also a convenient way to deploy your application in production. It's like a cheap Docker. I prefer to use Docker, but this works too, and this doesn't require a Docker engine. Some features that you can find on the website that I will not cover during this presentation. The worker mode can also be used in development to improve your development experience and to make your application fast, even in debug mode, like in Symfony, it can be quite slow. It's way faster in worker mode. And there is a watcher mode that will basically detect all the changes made to your PHP code, twig templates or blade templates, and that will restart the worker script in the background when the code changes. There is native support for xsend file, basically that this feature that is also supported by Symfony and Laravel allows to delegate the serving large static files to the web server. So basically, you can execute some PHP code to run some authorization logic, for instance, and then delegate serving the underlying large file directly to the web server without reading it from PHP. So it improves the performance a lot. And we have now support for the parallel extension from CrackJoe. And it's basically something like Go routines that allow to do a lot of parallel processing, but in PHP. And it plays very, very well with Franken-PHP. One problem with this extension is that you need a ZTS build of PHP. But Franken-PHP also needs a ZTS build. So when you are using Franken-PHP, basically you have everything you need to use that. And this is it's way more powerful than Fibers to improve the performance of your application by executing code in parallel and leveraging all the CPU cores that you have on your machine. And it's supported by default by Franken-PHP, and the extension is provided by default in the static binary. Thank you very much. I hope that you will try that on your next project.